Welcome back to Novel Writing 101, the first draft, a 21-week course where I teach you how to write the first draft of your novel. It's still week 2, and today we're going to talk about finding inspiration. Let's get into it. Before we get started though, head over to angiekadis.com/novelwriting101 to get your free worksheet. Finding and collecting inspiration is probably one of my favorite parts of the novel planning process because you get to start to build out like the aesthetic of your novel, what does it sound like, what does it look like, and those are all things I very much love. But inspiration can be most elusive when we're looking for it. Sometimes it feels like trying to force ourselves to grasp for straws when the inspiration just isn't coming. But I found some techniques and some activities over the years that really work for me, and I hope they work for you. So let's get into them. The first thing is to really just embrace those moments where you're not looking for inspiration and letting things come to you. So things like listening to music or just letting your mind kind of go on autopilot with a task and seeing what happens. Like, this might sound a little bad. And I'm always very safe when I drive, but I found that a lot of the times when I'm driving and I'm usually listening to music at the same time, I just get these sparks of random ideas. Or when I'm on like a long road trip, when I'm like listening to music at the airport. Music is a big theme here. It's just one of the ways that like I really connect with my work and other people's work and just like the possibilities around me. But other ways you can kind of tap into that subconscious creativity is, like I said, like you're crafting, your body is occupied, but your mind is free to kind of wander. Or maybe you're more into meditation and you just kind of want to lie there and just like see where your mind takes you to. One of the craziest ideas I've had for a book was actually in like a yoga class, and we were in Savasana and the last, the lying down, relaxing pose, what everyone loves at the end of a yoga class. And my mind just started taking me all these crazy places because I have a really hard time like shutting my mind down and just going like blank. So when I meditate, I try to like let my mind just wander where it wants to. And I came up with this elaborate, crazy story that I'm going to write one day, so I don't want to spoil too much. But essentially, it was like this journey that this woman was taking. And it was just a very magical idea that still stuck with me very strongly to this day. And I wasn't trying to write or think of an idea for a new novel. I was just trying to relax and trying to like center myself, and it just popped up. I feel like things like that are the like quintessential spark of inspiration where you're not looking for anything. It's just things just come and they happen. It's that moment of like creative genius that just hits you that is so fun as a writer to have. And so things like crafting, walking, listening to music, meditating, whatever you can do to occupy your body and just let your mind still might bring those moments for you. On a more active side of like looking for inspiration, like I said, I love music. So I always make a playlist for every single project I work on. Every single book I write gets its own playlist. And if you're really into music like me, I found this is so helpful for really setting the tone for what you're writing. And sometimes like a single song can like spark an idea for a scene or dialogue and take the book in like a certain direction. Now you can put any kind of music you want in your writing playlist. It's really up to you, but I found that movie scores and soundtracks work really well as more like instrumental music with little to no vocals or lyrics. And then sometimes, depending on what you're writing, it's like trendy music that can be really helpful. Like if you're writing a modern thriller or horror novel, maybe there's some really fun like club music or just like impactful like dark love song, something like that can really add a fun note in your music playlist. I'm going to start building out my playlist this week for my 2 new writing projects, but I want to talk about our homework assignment this week, which is mood boards. And mood boards are one of those things that, again, is like you're kind of looking for inspiration versus letting it come to you. But it's so fun for me and also was so helpful in my writing process. Mood boards are also very simple to make, and it's really fun. It's kind of just like craft time. And you can make your mood board physical. You can just cut out pieces of magazines or like print out stills from movies and paste them all on a board or a piece of paper even, or you can make it in Canva or Pinterest or something like that. Just really pull images that speak to you on scenes in your book, on character relationships, the setting, anything that sparks you is like, this feels like the aesthetic and the mood of my book. I've given you some examples in the worksheet of mood boards for fake premises I've come up with, so hopefully those are helpful, but really, there are no rules here. Just let your mind run wild, as I always say, and just explore all the fun things that come up. If you're looking for where to find images, I personally like Pinterest, but you can totally use Google. And I think that using either movie stills or aesthetic images is really great for mood boards. So for instance, if we use this premise we've had going for a couple weeks now of a woman gets caught in this middle of a global invasion and she has to survive with nothing but the clothes on her back in an unwelcome alliance, I use this as one of our examples in the worksheet, and I searched things like the earth is on fire, or apocalypse aesthetic, or alien invasion aesthetic, things like that to really pull relevant images. And I also searched the Mist movie scenes and stills and aesthetic, because I think the Mist one is such a great movie and really just kind of captures what I'm going for. It's like alien invasion, but it's not like little green men running around. It's like really freaky monsters. And so I wanted to pull that vibe into the aesthetic of this mood board. Again, let your mind run wild, pull all images you want. You can even do quotes. You can even make your own if you're an artist. Like, just make this mood board whatever you need it to be, to look at and say, yeah, that's my novel. And I found too that I'm very much a visual person. I think in like terms of like movie scenes in my mind when I'm writing books. And so when I have like a mood board of all these images that I can like bounce ideas back and forth off of, I found that sometimes like I'll see one image and I'll be like, that's a scene in the book. Like, I'm gonna take this like vibe I'm getting from this image and I'm gonna transfer it and like use this inspiration to really build out like an actual thing. And I could nerd out about this stuff all day. I could talk about playlists and mood boards and driving in the car and getting ideas and voice noting myself so I remember it later. I could talk about this all day. But at the end of the day, it's really what's going to work well for you, and this might take some experimenting. Like, maybe you were like, I also love music, I want to make a playlist. And then as you're listening to the playlist and writing with it, you're like, I don't like this, the music is distracting, it's not what I'm going for, this isn't working. And maybe mood boards in the sense that I use them won't work for you. Maybe you just like a color palette. Maybe that works for you. Honestly, like I said, there's no rules here. Just cater whatever this inspiration needs to be to your creativity and your process. So, like I said, this is a really short and sweet video about ways to find inspiration, ways to pull all that inspiration into something tangible. And if you look at our worksheet, you're going to have a homework assignment for this week of just making a mood board. And again, whatever mood board means to you, that's perfect. Just find ways to pull this inspiration together and have something, like I said, tangible that you can reference throughout the writing process. That's it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Next week is a big week. We're going to start outlining, so take advantage of this fun homework assignment because there's more work to come. As always, do your homework and see you next time.